Welcome to Beauty at Any Age 7. My name is Priscilla, and for today's tutorial, we are going to be working on everybody's favorite thing to do, eyebrows. Yes. Okay, so maybe it's not your favorite thing to do. It's not my favorite thing to do either, but we have to do it. So if you want to learn how I do my eyebrows, then please continue watching. Alright, so I'm really excited about this tutorial. I get a lot of questions about brows. Not necessarily that I have like the right brows, but I know people do struggle with brows. So what I'm going to show you before I actually walk you through on how I fill in my brows, I'm going to give you some tips on really just how to shape them. So one of the first things you'll want to have is any kind of eyebrow brush. I'm going to be using the MAC 266, and you can see it has a little angle here just to get into those little areas where it's going to require a little more refinement. But before I use this part of the brush, I'm actually going to use this part of the brush, and this is just to give us some direction on where the eyebrow should start, where the high of the brow should go, and then where the lower end of the brow should go. I'm going to be using a dip brow to fill them in, but to mark where I should start, where the high should go and where the low, I'm actually going to use a brow pencil. You can use any brow pencil. I happen to be using the e.l.f. brow pencil. I'm just going to take the top off of this, and then you can see it just has a little part, sharp part right there that you can put a little marking as to where your eyebrow should start. So let's get started on how to do this. You'll want to take, like I said, any type of brush, and you'll want to start, see where I start at the center of the nostril, and you want to just align right here. This right here is where your brow should start. Now I already have done this in the past, but I'm going to still just put a little marker there so I know, okay, that's where it needs to start. Now to determine where the high point of the brow should go, you want to take the same brush and go again into the center of the nostril, and you'll want to go here, and it should be right in the middle of your eye. If you can see that it's really aligned with my eye, it should go right about there. So you can again take the brow pencil and mark it right here. Now I already have it already aligned, so that's why it's going to be right where I had it. And then to go to see where should this part be, it really should align with your eye just perfectly right here. And if it doesn't, that's when I just fill it in a little bit more and bring it down further. So you'll take the brush, center of your nostril again, turn this way. And then you'll want to go with here and where the end of your eye is. So you're going to go right here. Sorry, my lash is in the way. And you can see perfect alignment means that it would go, let's trade here. It should go right here. That is where, so I'm just going to put little markers, and that really will show you where your brow should be in alignment to your eye. Now, I will say this about eyebrows because it's an area that I struggled with for so long, and I finally had to realize, and I've heard other YouTubers say this as well, eyebrows are not twins, they are cousins, and that means they will not both look perfectly. So just keep that in mind as we continue with this brow tutorial. So now that we have pretty much the markers of where this brow is going to go, I'm going to go in with now the top portion of this brush, and I'm going to take the Anastasia, it's a dip brow, it's a dip pomade actually. Promenade? It's a dip pomade, and it is in medium brown. So I'm going to open it, and it looks a little like this. I've used a lot of it, so I don't have much left. So here's what you're going to do. You want to go, this is super critical, you want to go very light. You do not, because this is very, very pigmented, so you do not want to dip and go heavy. You just want to, and I'm going to tip it in here, just tap very lightly, very lightly. And it doesn't matter how you want to start your eyebrows. If you're comfortable starting from the front and going back, you can do that as well. I actually like to start from right here to kind of where the center might go. I start right in here and I just start to draw a little line. I'll probably put that a little further down than I wanted it. And just begin to outline the brow. And in very small, light strokes, you don't want to go too heavy. And you just kind of want to get the shape to start going. I'm going to go back in and do the same thing very lightly and begin to, hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing, fill in the brow. And you're still just light strokes. You kind of want to mimic hair strokes, so go very lightly. Now, if you can see, my eyebrows grow very all over the place, right? So here they grow pretty much straight, but then they get to right about here and then they start to grow down. Maybe you all have the same thing, but it's always been like that, so I have to really be careful on how I do the strokes, because in some instances it may go up, in some instances it may go down. So it's whatever works for you. Because I already know where that's going to be, I'm going to kind of wipe that down a little bit. So now that I have the basic shape of my eyebrow, see right here, fill it in a little bit more. Don't go too heavy, go very light. And now I have really the basic shape. So now we're going to go into the top part of the brow. And dipping very lightly again. You're going to just want to start here and work down all the way here. And you're going to see when I start to do the other side, they really are not exactly alike, and it makes it really challenging, but I do the best that I can with this. So then I take a little more. And again, because my eyebrows grow down, I'm going to take some light strokes and go down. I will do just a little across right here to begin to shape the brow. And then I will still work my way down and then back up. I'll do this one a little slower just so you can see how it starts to shape a little bit here. And now I'm just doing like natural hair strokes and at the same time filling it in. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if it gets out, if you get out of the alignment of the actual brow, you can go back in with some type of concealer and then shape them. Now, one of my pet peeves that I have seen is people will do their brows and they'll go in with the concealer that's like 3 times lighter than their skin, and then they'll have their makeup on, they'll look fabulous, but then they'll have these white lines all around their brow. So you want to make sure that if you're going to use a concealer, that it's very close to your skin tone so that you don't have that distinct look between the brow and the concealer that you're putting in. So now we're going to do just the front part of the brow, and this one is one where you want to go the lightest, and you don't want to see, it's a little heavier here on this side. You want to go very light in this area. And again, you're just mimicking the natural way the hair goes, and go very lightly. You do not want to go heavy here. And there you go. And so now I'll show you how it's a little more challenging on the other side of my brow. So we're going to go over here, and again, so if you see this brow, it goes down a little lower. This one sits up much higher, and so that's always been my challenge, trying to get them to align as best as I can. So I'm going to take a little bit here, and I'm actually, instead of starting way in here, because that's going to be way too high, I'm going to mimic a line just below that. So hopefully you can see right here. So I'm going to start mimicking my line there. And then just start to shape right under that. Now again, you know how to shape the brow, so I didn't need to do it on this side. I already have it pretty much lined up, but you'll want to do the same thing that I did in the initial eye, with the other eyebrow. So again, just taking light little strokes and shaping the brow. And then just want to continue going lightly. I'm taking my time only because the eyebrows are the ones that are the most challenging to do, and it really sets off the makeup look that you have. Okay, so we have somewhat of the shape that we want, and now I'm going to start here. So the high point of my brow is right there. I am actually going to start right in here and work my way down. You can already see this brow part is a little thicker than this one. That's just how they're grown. I could probably have some of the hair cut out in here so that it looks a little thinner and it's kind of matching this side, but we'll work with what we have for now. So now I'm just going in and filling in. And again, you're just shaping them and filling them in. This one's definitely more scarce than the other brow that I just did. So I probably have to create more of an illusion of a brow right in there. And I'm filling in, and then when I get to the closer to the front part, I'm just, like I said, gonna mimic some hairs there, but I'm not gonna go very heavy on there. So you're just gonna wanna go very light. And that's it. So as you can see, this one is definitely a little higher than this one. Sometimes what I'll do is I will go in with the concealer and I'll take a small brush. This one is the Morphe M174, but you can see it's very tiny. Hopefully you can see it a little better this way. Very small, so you want a very tiny brush. And you can take any type of concealer. You already know I use the Maybelline. I don't know why I can never get that aligned correctly. Eventually I'll get that aligned. But the Maybelline concealer, I'm just gonna take the top off. And then I'm gonna just take a little, I'm gonna go so lightly on the side. And there's really like almost nothing. And then just tap it on my arm just to take any excess that might be there. So then I'm gonna go right in here and just draw a little line right in here, very lightly. And as you see, it's very similar to my skin tone, so you could barely even tell that's anything there. I'm gonna go back and do it again. What I'm trying to do is just create an illusion that the eyebrow's a little lower than what it really is, because it kind of does sit high. And I'm going to take, so there we, so then I'll take my finger and just kind of wipe some of the excess. And the other thing that I do, because this is a little wider than this one, I will go in and try and, there's a little more on this one, and it's purposely that I want more because I'm trying to hide the fact that there is a little more hair here. So it's still very visible, but if you blend it in a little bit, then it kind of disappears a little. So I'm not really crazy about how this part right here is looking, so I can easily go now and take this and lightly go in and get rid of some of that. So you see. And because this is such a light concealer, it can actually serve as your brow bone color. And then blend it in this way. So this is the final makeup look with the eyebrows done. It does make a difference. Eyebrows really set off your look. So you really want to practice your eyebrows, Practice, practice, practice. That's all I would recommend you to do, is continue working with your brows, see what works for you. You may want a pencil versus using a pomade like I've used, whatever works for your eyebrows, but it is going to take some practice, and I promise you eventually you'll be able to do them in no time at all. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.